Hello, I'm Ark Wingrove, one of the Wandering Asset Managers. Today I am by a very, very interesting asset indeed. I am in Dublin, or just outside Dublin, and I'm by the Royal Canal. Now, the Royal Canal was built in 1817, or completed in 1817, so it's well over 200 years old, built to a remarkable standard, and hence most of it survives to this day. But the really interesting thing about the Royal Canal from an asset management case study point of view is that within 30 years, by 1847, this asset was completely obsolete for its original objectives. So I don't know if you can see it over to my right, it was made obsolete by the coming of the railway. So the railway was completed 30 years later, and overnight the canal really, it didn't meet its objectives compared to the railway that was faster, it was cheaper, and it could have a much bigger throughput. It could transport a lot of stuff a lot quicker. So the canal then spent probably about just over 100 years, not really being used for anything, and it was only probably due to its construction quality that it survived at all. But the case study part of this is that this asset now has completely different objectives. It has multiple objectives, and most of them are quite difficult to measure financially. So this asset is a blueway. And by that we mean that it is used for canoeing, it's used for boating, and also tourism has a big part in this. It's also used as a cycleway, and we'll come back to that in a second. It's a greenway in that it's a green corridor through what is now a rapidly urbanising part of Dublin. In addition to that, it's being looked at as being an option for getting water, for drinking water into the city, and also for commuting and for well-being, both physical and mental. There's a load of joggers who are using this and a load of people just out for walking their dogs. So this is a very precious asset. It's a very useful asset. So my asset management challenge is that how do you measure the effect, the value, if you will, in ISO 55000 terms, of this asset? And that's the challenge. The other challenge is does your organisation have assets like this that you may think are actually liabilities because their original objective has gone? But do you see other objectives, other potential objectives for them? Do you see other value in them? And how do you measure that, and how do you realise that? So that's the thing I want to leave you wondering with.